in a major claim, has stated that the long-pending trade deal, which is being negotiated between India and America, has failed to materialize, not because of policy differences between the two countries, but due to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's refusal to speak directly with the American President Donald Trump. In an interview, Mr. Lutnick claimed that the whole trade deal was set up, but for it to reach its conclusion, Mr. Modi needed to call Donald Trump. However, he argued that the Indian government was not comfortable with this and that Mr. Modi did not eventually make that call. Now, these are entirely claims being made by Howard Lutnick, the American Commerce Secretary. Well, we have both Rishabh as well as Hina joining us now. Hina, Indo-American relations, at least when it comes to negotiations that have been underway for the forging of a bilateral trade agreement between the two countries, they appear to have taken a turn for the worse with Howard Lutnick's latest claim. Now, are we really in a position to believe, Lutnick, there's going to be a press conference on the part of the MEA to be held later today, so some clarity hopefully will emerge over the Indian perspective on this entire matter, but startling claims, nevertheless, only making negotiations between India and America that much more difficult as far as a bilateral trade deal is concerned.
Well, that's right. And Siddharth, we have spoken to a couple of experts as well, and we tried to understand what should we make of these kind of statements that we have got. First, from US President Donald Trump on 6th of January, when he spoke about Apache and how he said he recounted an earlier interaction with Prime Minister Modi, wherein he tried to suggest that it was the Prime Minister who said, "Sir, may I please come in?" On the other hand, on 9th of January, we've got another member from Trump administration, in a way giving a contradictory statement, because here what he's trying to suggest that Trump and Trump's team wanted Prime Minister Modi to call Donald Trump, but PM did not do that. So when we asked, the experts here in India on what do they make of these two kind of statements, so they are of the view that this is nothing, but it seems like a way to coerce India to agree to the terms that Trump wants us to agree on as far as this India-US trade deal is concerned. But India's statement, India's stance on this entire matter has been absolutely clear since day one. Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, who has been the man who has been, coordinating all these negotiations from India's side with the United States of America, has maintained one thing since day one. For India, national interest comes first. We do not really negotiate keeping deadlines in mind. And perhaps that is the reason why India has decided to take a tough call. This is what we can make of this statement from Howard Lutnick that has come. But clearly, we'll have to wait and see how the government really responds. Remember, the trade deal was supposed to, happen around November last year, but still there are some sticky points and it's still in the works.
Absolutely. Hina, thanks for that. Let me go across to Rishabh as well. Rishabh, in the last week of December 2025, Prime Minister Modi and President Trump did have a phone call, and they did, in fact, discuss negotiations as far as a bilateral trade agreement is concerned. So this was barely a couple of weeks ago, but a lot has happened now within that span of 2 weeks. And it remains to be seen as to how India officially responds to the claim being made by the American Commerce Secretary.
Well, definitely, Siddharth, if we talk about Lutnick, what is he claiming? In the 1 hour, 27-minute podcast, there is 3 to 4 minutes where India is discussed. And there are 3 things that he's discussing. A, that a deal was on table for India. B, US wanted India to call Trump and say that we want to do a deal, which India did not do. And that's why things did not work. Again, Lutnick from here on claims that now India wants to do a deal on the negotiations that happened back then, and now US is not ready. These are the 3 claims that Lutnick has made in that podcast. Now the major question is, what was the deal? Why did India not agree to it? What was the hesitation from New Delhi? These are the major key points. Remember, at many points, we have seen even Prime Minister speaking, for that matter, Agricultural Minister speaking, or for that matter, Foreign Minister speaking, that, or Piyush Goyal, for that matter, saying that India's national interest is paramount. B, there are red lines that India is not going to cross. What are these red lines? Dairy, agriculture. These are two red lines that India does not want to cross and will not allow US to cross when it comes to negotiation.
Okay.
C, whether India is ready to make a deal right now, that is something that the Commerce Ministry will have to come out clearly. A lot of Commerce Ministry officials have made claims which as of now has to be substantiated from both the sides. Even, there are rumors that there were calls that happened between India and New Delhi in which Donald Trump came in and decided to put that call on hold. There are a lot of discussions within the power circles that how, both Washington and New Delhi at one point wanted to clarify things and get the deal going. So one thing is very clear, that both US and India will have to come on record and put out what exactly is the issue with the trade deal, where is the trade deal negotiation standing, what is that India is ready to give leverage to US, and what is US demanding that India is not agreeing to. These are the certain things that we need to hear from government of India.
Thanks for that perspective. Obviously, India very clear as to what the red lines are as far as the trade deal is concerned. Now, do Donald Trump's own claims contradict what his Commerce Secretary has said? Because Mr. Trump had said recently that Prime Minister Modi had sought his time, that they discussed the issue of the delivery of Apache helicopters, and that Prime Minister Modi had described him as Sir, though this claim has been contradicted by many experts as well. Now, Howard Lutnick is saying something else altogether. We are still awaiting some clarity on the part of the Ministry of External Affairs, which is expected to hold a press conference later today. But here's what the Union Minister for Commerce and Industry here in India, Mr. Piyush Goyal, had said in the past on the negotiations as far as a bilateral trade deal is concerned. Mr. Goyal had said that India takes decisions based on its own national interests and is not bound by timelines. Let's listen to what Mr. Goyal had said some time ago. So that was something that the Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal, had said some time ago, and he also had his UK counterpart sitting alongside him at that point in time as well. We also have responses coming from several people now within the Congress party as well about the relations between India and the United States, especially on the economic front. These reactions also come amid the 500% tariff threat that looms quite large. It's received the endorsement of US President Donald Trump, and the Republican administration there is seeking some kind of a bipartisan consensus on the matter as well. India already faces 50% American tariffs on exports to the United States. Some of this, of course, also in response to India's purchase of Russian oil. Here's what the former External Affairs Minister during the UPA government, Mr. Salman Khurshid, has had to say about what's happening between the two countries.
Even 50% was extremely unfair. I think India deserves much better. And he held out promise that, the FTA will happen, etc., and the 50% will go. But now he's threatening 500%, etc. So it's a tough choice that we have to make. Do we let down a friend like Russia, or do we make our life very difficult? This is a very tough question that the government has to make. If the government wants to consult us, we will be there to help. But obviously the government doesn't believe in consulting, so they'll have to take this decision on their own.
The Congress party has been reacting quite sharply to what's been happening on the India-America relations front. They've now basically taken a dig at the ties between the two countries, including the Indian government. Now, here's what they've had to say. Here's what Jairam Ramesh has just put on the social media some time back. That's his tweet. He says, hug na raha, post na raha. Kya se kya ho gaya, bewafa tere dosti mein. Obviously taking a dig at the deterioration in ties between India and the United States, which have taken a sharp turn for the worse. Let me go across to my colleague Niyamika as well, who joins us for more on this. Niyamika, the Congress party clearly not silent over what's been happening between the two countries. Clearly, the relations have taken a turn for the worse over the last few weeks with what Donald Trump has been doing in the United States, including now threatening a 500% tariff against India. Jairam Ramesh clearly saying that the hug is no more, the post is no more, also taking a dig at the ruling dispensation here.
Well, yes, indeed. We have seen in the past few days as well that how the Congress party is basically taken a jibe over Prime Minister Narendra Modi in terms of the India-US relations in particular, as the latest is coming in on the part of the Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh, who has taking a pot shot at Prime Minister Narendra Modi regarding the relations, the kind of friendship which the Congress party is making fun of between the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the US President Donald Trump. As for that reason, not just him, but in fact we have also seen that how the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has also made a tweet in this regard, in which he has questioned the foreign policy of this country. He basically is attacking the BJP government, stating that whether it is about removing the ban upon the Chinese products, or the way in which there is various statements coming
from the
in.
Congress party. Very sharp criticism indeed. We'll have to wait and see as to how the BJP and also the central government responds to these claims. We'll take a short break. Many thanks for that, Niyamika. We'll see you